family member has an RV that's literally falling apart, that's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
Like if a family member has an
drive?
RV that they no longer use and they want to, give to someone who will use it, yeah, sure. But if it's falling apart, like definitely be careful.
Welcome to Unhitched. This is a new podcast series that we are going to be starting where we answer your guys' questions. I have a list of them here that we have collected from our Instagram, and Jared has never heard any of them before. So we're just going to sit down, have a good time, and it should be fun.
We're getting unhitched, unwinded.
Yep.
Buckle up.
Buckle up, because it's going to be a good time. Okay, let's start with some life updates.
Life updates.
So we're currently in Ketchum, Idaho. It is one of our favorite places. People ask us all the time, what's your favorite place to go to? And we always say...
Sun Valley, Ketchum,
Stanley, Sawtooth
this
National
whole
Forest.
area of Idaho is
It's our
amazing.
favorite.
We shouldn't even be telling you guys because it's...
I know.
Keep everybody away. No, we're not like that. Come over because it's so beautiful.
I know. I'm not going to gatekeep it from you, especially if you're here. But
it's such a beautiful area. The hiking, the hot springs, the free camping. It's like right up our alley.
So if this is your first time tuning in with us, we live in this RV and we have for about a year and a half now. Primarily just boondocking, which that means we live off grid. We have all of our own water. We have a huge solar system so that we can charge our batteries and have our own electricity off grid. Anything else?
It's free camping.
It's just free, so we don't pay any rent, and it's the best way to make or to save a little bit of money, and so that's been really great for us. Anyway, any other life updates that we want to say? We popped a tire.
Oh yeah, on our way in here, we got a little pinhole in the tire, and luckily Les Schwab, shout out, they patched it up the same day we brought it in for free.
Yeah, well, it was crazy because we were looking for a boondock spot, and we go out there, and Jared heard a hissing, and we actually have a tire monitor.
Well, that's what
and
I heard
it went
first,
off, and so you went out there, you heard a hissing sound.
Hissing, but I couldn't see.
Well, and I was out scouting, so I was walking around. I had no idea, and I come back, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Why aren't you in the car? Why is the car off?" And he's like, "Oh, I think we have a flat." I was like, "Dang."
Yeah, so a tire pressure monitor is a game changer.
So good.
If you don't have one, even for your car, that you can note the pressure of every single tire.
Yeah,
and make
people
sure that
who
you're
RV
balanced.
without one, y'all are crazy. You got to get one. It
one.
saved
Cheap.
us so many times.
Because we could have kept driving on that.
We would have no idea.
We'd had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? I can't really think of anything.
Should we talk about my cross stitch?
Freaking do it, yeah.
Recently, I have started cross stitching as a late night hobby to unwind.
I love that you call it a late night hobby.
It's a late night
Not that type of hobby.
It's a late night hobby. And,
it's a grandma late night hobby.
Let me grab it really quick.
Okay. Oh, yeah, careful. This is a tight space, so Jared just ran into some of our lights. But we're right here in the kitchen, and our bedroom's right there, so he doesn't have very far to go.
So I am making a bear. I made an elk.
It looks pretty good.
I made an elk. It's getting there. We're really close. I made an elk. Now I made a bear. And, it's fun. Trying something new. It's relaxing.
It's relaxing.
It's chill.
Yeah, and we've started it as a partner stitch, which means now I just sometimes also do it.
Basically, she's like, hey, I'm going to do some of this for you. And I'm like, all right, go ahead.
So, yeah.
You got to get your own.
So that's the
then
life.
I'll do my own.
That's our life updates.
That's it.
Should we just jump into the questions here?
I can't wait to hear what you've come up with.
So we have 5 questions for you today, and we'll probably just always do 5 unless we decide to do more. Okay, here's number 1. My partner and I have been together for 3 years, and she is ready for a change. She wants to do van life so bad, but between you and me, I think this is just because it's a bit overhyped on Instagram. I currently work at a grocery store, and she is convinced we can find work on the road, but I'm worried that we can't. I want to be open to this lifestyle change, and because my career isn't set in stone, she thinks it's a perfect time to try something new. My question is, do you think we can really find work on the road through campgrounds and other things?
Yes and no. I mean, do van life. It's fun. It's just amazing. If you're in a position we decided to do this because we don't have kids. Our lease just ended. It was just a good timing.
Yeah.
However, we had remote work before we started. And that gave me a lot of peace of mind. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of RVers who don't work remotely. They work camp, which is basically, you're at a campground and you check people in, or you do maintenance, or you do this or that. There's websites out there for work camping.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that you can do whatever you want. If you want to live in this RV, you and your girlfriend, you guys go live in that RV. Just do it. But I do think you should ask yourself, is this your girlfriend's dream or is it your dream? Because you need to set set those expectations up. Because for us, we both really wanted this. Now, if you're just like, oh, my girlfriend really wants to do this, then I would really reevaluate and at least rent a van, go test it out, and maybe you'll fall in love with it and you'll be like, it's worth it. Like, it's worth a remote job. It's worth this change. I mean, to her point, if you are just working at a grocery store and this is not your like dream job, maybe find a better job working remote from the road. So I don't think you have anything to lose as long as you don't feel pressured from her to hit the road. What do you think?
But I will go back to the question: is it overhyped on Instagram?
Oh,
absolutely.
Especially van life, and I get it. I tell Jared almost every day that I want to switch to a van. But let's be real, like you see those van girls and you're like, man, well, those girls are hot and they look so good.
The thing is like it's overhyped, but it's also not like, yes, we get to hike amazing hikes 5 minutes from our trailer. We get to see amazing sights.
Right. Is it really overhyped? Because it is actually
it's amazing. Awesome. But what the heck did we do all day? We've been inside our trailer. We've been working all day.
And it's hot in here. It's hot in here. Our AC like kind of works.
And you know, this stuff breaks all the time. We got to flat. Like it's like anything. Like it's definitely overhyped. Yeah. If you depend on the creator you follow.
I do think that the media has gotten so much better about kind of showing this other side of RV life.
We try to just show it all.
Yeah, I do agree that there are maybe some influencers out there who are really glamorized and it's like shot in 50,000K and like what you know, and it's like so nice in the sunset and they're on the roof kissing.
It's not like that every day.
It's not like that.
It's like that sometimes.
Hardly ever, but sometimes it is.
But not every day.
Yeah. Okay, I think we answered that. Question 2. I have a family member who has an old RV that is literally falling apart. I follow you on Instagram and saw that you guys renovated your rig a while back. Do you guys have any resources that you feel are helpful for people wanting to DIY camper renos with zero experience? You kind of already said that actually in the intro of the video. Your YouTube guy, Jared.
Oh yeah. No, that was that? I think that was Boondock Talk. Yeah, it was.
Oh crap. That was for Instagram. All right, well, never mind. You can just re-say it now.
Yes, I would be careful. Like the first line of this question was, a family member has an RV that's literally falling apart. That's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
Like if a family member has an RV that they no longer use and they want to, give it to someone who will use it, yeah, sure. But if it's falling apart, like definitely be careful. Especially if it's a family member, it could cause like family issues. Yeah. But
to answer the question it sounds like this person's committed. So let's stay on topic here. They're committed.
Good luck. No. You can definitely renovate. I would do, looking back, I would do like essential things first. Like painting the walls white was not essential. Fixing the water heater, that was essential. So like do
if
that.
If your floors are falling apart, you need to figure that out.
Fix all the crap first and then do the cosmetic stuff.
100%.
Especially
that's the only way.
For budget, because it adds up. I was shocked at like how much it cost to paint this thing. Yeah. It's not even that much space. It was like a couple $100 just to paint. And like that doesn't include everything else. So All About RVs is my favorite YouTube channel for RV repair and just learning about RVs.
And if you're looking for like DIY like inspiration for your reno, I did a lot of Pinterest looking, lots of Pinterest boards. I had a Pinterest board that was just like my future RV. And this RV that we renovated, it came from all of those ideas. I didn't just like wake up one day, I'm like, we're gonna have white walls, we're gonna have a rug, we're gonna have this. No, like it took a lot of time for us to finalize. I mean, for the longest time, I thought I was gonna paint our kitchen green. Can you imagine that?
No.
I can't even imagine that now. We did the right thing. For us, at least.
So, just be careful. The last thing you want is a pretty looking RV that's falling apart.
Yeah, you do really need to be careful. Make sure, you know what? I would hire a technician to get his hands and his eyes over on that rig.
An inspection.
Like, seriously, if your floor has any issues, if your roof has any issues, I would just, stay away.
You need to know these things. So get an inspection.
It can be really intense and expensive.
And back to the last question, if you want to do this, you can easily be like, oh, it's fine. Oh, that roof leak's fine. Well, it's fine until it starts, raining on you in bed in the middle of the night.
And then you bought this rig for, whatever, $5K because it was probably a junker. And then you still have to pay $10K to fix it. So by that time, plus your reno that you did, which is probably going to be about $7K if you're going to do the whole shebang, So it can be really pricey. Just to not crush your dream, but to just be realistic.
Be realistic.
Okay.
And one more thing.
Oh, okay.
if you're not sure about RV, get out there unrenovated. Do the bare minimum. Get out there. What if you hate it in a week or a month?
Yep.
So you'd hate to have done all the work and then quit.
And then just quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would suck. Okay, question 3. All right, this is another rig question.
Okay.
Is this rig worth my time? Not sure what's too bad to fix. My dad passed away and left an RV out in the yard. The water pump doesn't work along with most of the lights. My guess is mice. The floor almost seems soft. I wouldn't mind keeping it if it could be fixed. Half of my family wants to keep it, but I don't think they have thought about how much work this will be. Am I overreacting? You're not overreacting. It's going to be a lot of work.
Did they say what year it is?
No, it's like, we don't have all the details here.
It's old.
It's old.
Well, is your
first
family...
of all, sorry that your dad passed. That's really sad.
Of course. It sounds kind of like, to me, your family wants to keep it, but you are going to have to deal with
That's
it.
exactly it. Yeah, it's like sentimental. Like, your brother's like, I loved having camping trips with this thing. Jim, go fix it.
Yeah, you take care of it then if you love it. Like, sounds like you're kind of getting this thing dropped on you. I mean, I get it. Like, if you have something...
Well, and if you're like Mr. Fix-It, that's probably this guy's probably like a construction guy or...
Again, hire somebody to come look at it and give you their professional opinion, because I can't give you an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question you need to ask yourself is, do you want this rig?
Yeah.
And like, let's say you do fix it up, who gets to use it? Like, your brother, your sister, or you, because you're the one who spent the money? Are you going to split up fixing it?
Yeah, figure that out.
So there's definitely more questions involved. Like, you don't want this thing to turn into like a timeshare for your RV type of scenario. Like,
yeah. What? But it could be an easy fix. It said water pump and lights. It could be like a fuse.
Right. Well,
put a fuse in, the whole thing's fixed.
The floor being soft, we didn't have any issues with our floor. Do you know anything about?
No.
Yep. So you're on your own.
Hire somebody.
Hire somebody and pick their brain when they show up.
Don't take advice from 2 people online.
We are musicians. Yes, we did a reno, but we really...
No, we learned a lot.
we learned a lot, but...
And a lot of it's held up. I would say, I feel fit to give like advice on renovation,
you basically redid our whole cab.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I'd have to see it. So just hire somebody. It'll bring you a lot of peace of mind.
Mm-hmm. There's literally a fly right on the camera.
Oh my gosh, we have like.
Oh, 3... you guys are just like 12 flies in here. I just like can't handle it.
Somebody get me a fly
Send
swatter.
help. Okay, what are we on? 4? Is that right?
Number 4.
Okay, number 4. I'm a single mom living in an RV. I originally did this out of necessity, but now I have a good income as I found remote work.
Nice.
I have grown to love this lifestyle, but my family has been giving me a ton of pressure to get a home. I feel as if my family doesn't trust me. They have even gone as far as saying I'm just glorified homeless, or asked questions like, how do you expect your son will be normal? Ooh. I know they just want what is best and are concerned that my son will need to go to school someday and I won't be able to work and do homeschool. Do you have any advice for dealing with family who don't understand your situation? Have you ever felt pressure to settle down? How do I tell them to step off?
Oh my gosh, that's like 10 questions.
I know. Okay, so going back.
My initial thought is, though, you do you.
Yeah, who freaking cares?
People...
If you can raise your kid, raise your kid. Don't listen to your parents.
Yeah,
you need to be
Literally,
happy with your life. So
I
who
will
cares?
say, people, like family members who voice those concerns, like they're I know that like it's annoying, but like they just mean well.
It comes from a good place almost always.
Like my brother is,
and
like,
sometimes they're just actually curious.
Yeah, like one of my brothers is like, you're insane. I would never do that. That's ridiculous. Like, explaining a Navy shower, like how we just can't let the water. He's like, like you couldn't.
It's a different world for him,
right? And so they just don't get it, and that's okay. But I also understand, like, there is a norm. Like, there's a norm, like going to school, doing this, doing that, and so...
Well, and I bet to you, this almost feels a little bit of overstepping into your lifestyle, but not only that, it's also kind of overstepping into your parenting, right? Like, they're saying stuff like, how's your son gonna be normal? Okay, well, that's a pretty intense accusation, so I'm sorry that you're even having to deal with that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, how to deal with that, like, you can go up and really talk to them, but I'm guessing you already have, and that's why these things have come up.
How do I tell them to step off is the question.
Right. Like, step off nicely. If you don't care about being nice, just tell them. I don't know.
Yeah, you just have to just tell them what you want. And
it's all about communicating, being honest.
Yeah, I appreciate your concern.
Bothering
I appreciate you guys reaching out and saying this because they care. That's what that means. That you have people that care about you. Especially if you came. Defense, sounds like she came from a place where she was living out of necessity. Like, you know.
Okay, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
I don't know.
That's right. Like, okay, this sounds bad, but like maybe there's some trust issues there. Like we don't know you, we don't know this person, we don't know your family. Have they given you money in the past? Like what's this relationship like?
Yeah.
Have they helped you with childcare? Like
Dude,
we have no idea.
As long as you,
who knows?
If you can pay the bills, if you can have food on the table, if you can make sure that your kid is learning and
going
doing
to
school and doing whatever that looks like, then that's fine.
Then you're fine.
But if you can't do those things, like get help from your family, reevaluate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, last question. Okay, I'm considering surprising the family with a new RV. As I do the math, I can probably stretch and get a really nice one if I can create some revenue from it. I'm not quite sure what that means, but we are still pretty busy with the kids, so it would be sitting idle for a bit. Recently, I rented an RV share and had a wonderful time. What is your experience renting out your RV? What would you estimate for monthly revenue? Oh, anything else I should consider? I was like, what?
Yeah, so he's basically saying, I'm going to buy an RV and I'm going to rent it out when I'm not using it.
Okay, yeah.
What type of RV? Does it say what type of RV it
doesn't.
Is? Oh my gosh.
Put your RV rigs.
Give us
We
the
gotta know what they
details.
are. If it's a Mercedes Sprinter van, you're in luck. People will rent those things for big bucks.
I would never,
A travel trailer?
ever
No.
rent out a trailer or a fifth wheel. It is so scary to tow this thing. Like, what if they show up with the freaking minivan trying to tow your thing?
It's not that it's complicated, but it's a little complicated if you've never done it before to attach it to the car.
There's so much you have to know. A lot of elements. Which switches is what's the water pump? What's the black tank? Like, you can't just do this or that.
Person, they're gonna be the people who pull the black tank instead of the gray tank right in a camping spot. Like, not that you're supposed to do that ever.
They're just gonna, and they're not gonna treat it. Does it say brand new?
He wants to buy a really nice RV.
Dude, if you've got the money, just buy it and use it for you. Don't rent that thing out. I would never. What
I do wonder is you say, I can probably stretch and get a really nice RV. Don't stretch. Don't stretch for an RV. If you're thinking, I'm going to stretch for this RV and it'll make me money. No. Maybe you'll be able to pay a little bit of that RV off with the people who rent it out from you, but it is not likely.
It depends on where you live. It's seasonal. Like
if you live in Yellowstone.
Well, like if you live close to it, but that's still seasonal. People aren't going there in the winter.
Heck no.
So
yeah,
buy in cash. I feel like Dave Ramsey. Buy in cash. Don't rent it out. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And buy used. You're not going to use the thing. People buy these rigs. They use them like 3 times a year. Like, don't pay $100,000 for that crap to use it 3 times a year. Just go rent one.
Go rent one. If you rent an RV, how much do you? Let's say you rent an RV for 3 days. How much could you possibly spend? Like $800 tops?
I would say $100 to $200 a day or a night. Yeah. So like $600.
So like if you're only gonna camp, I don't know, a week every year, don't buy some $100,000 rig.
Well then, hey,
it's just dumb.
You could test out different styles. You could rent a trailer. True. You could rent this. You could rent that, and you could see. How about this? You could see what condition those rigs are. Like, are rented rigs trash? Like, are they like taken care of? Because if they're a little bit trashy, you're like, well, that was obviously all the renters. Oh. So then you'd know like renting's a bad idea.
That's true. And heck, you should just talk to the people you rent from. I've never rented an RV, but I'm assuming that you can just like Airbnb, you could get their contact and be like, hey, tell me your horror stories. Tell me this. I'm sure you could find someone to like actually tell you who has actual experience.
Don't ask us because we've never done it.
We just said we would never do it. So obviously we're not the right people to talk to.
Ask someone who's done it. If you've done it, if you've rented an RV,
let us know.
Let us know in the comments your experience. Like maybe you're an RV rental millionaire and we just don't know.
We just don't know that industry. Okay, that was the last question. So we have a story to read. So every single Unhitched episode, we're going to answer 5 questions and then we're going to read one of your guys' crazy anonymous stories. And I found a pretty funny one.
Yeah, well, and if you have a question, submit it down and the link will be in the description. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to hear this. Okay. Bring it on.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
When I was about 30, my family and my brother's family traveled to New Orleans together in a Class C motorhome. We stopped for the night late after dark near an RV camp. None of us had ever been there before. It was pitch black and my brother navigated the park in the dark and parked for the night. We were all really tired and no one got out of the RV. My wife and I got the cab over bed. My brother and his wife got the dinette bed and numerous teenagers, kids, bunked on the floor and elsewhere.
Classic.
Not long after everybody bedded down and were nodding off, there came a train horn blast at full volume. Then the inside of the RV lit up like the surface of the sun. I looked out the cab over the front window and shouted, "Gary, my God, you parked on the train tracks." There was a sudden mass scramble for an emergency evacuation of the RV.
Oh, they got out of it? Oh, no.
In reality, he parked about 30 feet parallel to the train tracks.
Okay.
It seemed like the train was right there, but in reality, we were perfectly safe. But we all belly laughed and laughed and laughed at the panic that ensued when I said he was on the train tracks.
Hilarious.
We all talked about it, or we still talk about it to this day, and how hilariously funny it was. Oh.
I can't even imagine.
I would literally die.
They got out. I would turn that thing on and drive away.
No, well, what if it was a trailer?
No, but it's
and you had to go run out to your car. Either way,
C.
you have to get out.
No, you can go right through the front. You can go right through.
C.
You turn it on and you drive out. I wouldn't have gotten out. Then your rig gets blasted by a train.
Okay, if you actually were on the train tracks, it's the middle of the night.
Can't
do you
find
feel
your
like
keys.
You would have do you feel like you could get up, find your keys,
not.
and get if the train's coming, you hear the horn, you got 20 seconds.
Moral of the story is never arrive anywhere at dark.
We always try to get at campgrounds before 5.
I mean, as soon as you can.
As soon as we can.
Like in the summer, it's a little more flexible.
Oh, for sure, because the sun goes down at 10.
Don't show up at dark. That crap's gonna happen. Oh my gosh, that could have been bad. What if they didn't wake up? What if they were on the train tracks? What if they died?
That's literally a crazy story, though.
That's nuts, you guys.
Literally so crazy. All right. Well, as always, thanks for joining us on Unhitched. If you want to submit a question, you can do so in the description below. We have a link. It's anonymous, so we will not know who you are. We will not know the tea. We will not know you.
But we will judge you.
And we'll tell you what we think.
We'll tell you what you're doing wrong.
We'll tell you what's up.
And you can find us on all the socials. Jared and Kayla, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
And that's it for now. That's a wrap.